And the record comes out the exact same day we play Upheaval.
Yeah. Hey Uprisers, I'm Rebecca and I'm back with another artist interview. Today we're talking to Jason Hook of Flat Black, who's playing on Friday, July 19th with Godsmack headlining. So let's get into it.
Hi,
Hi.
Rebecca. Let me tilt this down so we can see my new guitar I got.
What is it? Tell us about it.
This is a Charvel. This is a European guitarist signature model. His name is Henrik Danage. But
Nice.
look at how that's a brand new guitar.
Yeah, that's
Messed up
slick.
like that, right?
I love the like texture. It looks really
Yeah. This is what they call distressed or relict.
There you go.
It's a brand new guitar made to look like it's been to hell and back.
You'll get it there, right?
Yeah, right.
I know a lot of people already know who you are from your previous ventures with Five Finger, but I kind of want you to talk about Flat Black and how you guys kind of came together.
Well, basically, I've been in bands my whole life, so it didn't that was the plan, sort of.
Mhm.
At the end of the Death Punch thing, I needed a break. We worked so hard for things that were back to back to back to back for 13 years. And burnout is a real thing. And I was starting to feel like, at that level when everyone's, when there's such a popularity and demand, people book you back to back to back. Nobody wants you to sit around. I mean, it's a cash cow, So,
Right.
but I needed a break, and fortunately for me, the pandemic happened right after I split. So, the good thing about that was it gave me a chance to pause, catch my breath, and nobody was really expecting anything from anybody. Like the whole community was on pause.
Mhm.
And so I didn't feel that pressure, like I got to get something out within the next 3-4 months. And I wanted to, well, I needed a break for starters, and then I also wanted to build something. The cat's distracting me. I'm sorry. I want to build something that could really shine, and I think that for me, speed can be the enemy of great.
Mhm.
And I didn't just want to find a bunch of guys and chuck something together. So I went looking for my drummer first. Um, to me, being a guitar player, I always kind of need that. I need that second half. I need somebody to bounce my ideas off of. Um, very much like a Vinnie Paul or an Alex Van Halen. As a guitar player, I kind of need that additional component to be able to create. So um, the first person I found was our drummer Rob Pierce.
Had you worked with him before? You just heard his work, or how did you kind of decide that he was your guy?
Good question. Well, no, I was sort of adamant about finding fresh faces for a couple of reasons. One is there's like a certain amount of new enthusiasm and a hunger and a desire to do whatever it takes when you have guys that really haven't done big stuff before.
Mhm.
And I knew that was going to be a lot of work. And in that respect, I didn't want to chase name guys. And also too, with name guys, there's always a risk that the name guy will go back to their name gig. you
Right.
know, um, so Rob was just, I'd flown around and worked, jammed with a bunch of players, trying to see if I could feel that chemistry, and I wasn't really getting there. And sort of out of the blue, somebody in my hometown, Las Vegas, called me and said, "Hey, there's a drummer down here at the studio, and I'm doing a session with him, and he's really fucking good. You should come down and meet this guy." So I was like, "I'll be right there." And he was really good. And so I was like, "Okay, well, let's talk about, maybe possibly building a band
Mhm.
around us." That's where it started.
And then you went on and you both searched for the rest of the band, or?
The next thing we started working on music. I have a really nice studio in my house, and we started working every day on music and tracks and ideas and track and recording everything. And we had some really exciting music, but then we realized without the singer, we can't really move forward.
Mhm.
And that's when we sort of put everything down and said, we need to focus all of our attention on who is the singer.
Mhm.
And that process, I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. That took about 3 years, and we looked at and talked to and auditioned just about every singer that we could get our hands on.
Mhm.
It was frustrating. What I learned was a lot of people, like, I'd be at the gym and I would listen to guys on Spotify or Sirius XM, and I would take a screenshot. Who is that? And I'd go home and research and reach out and stuff. And what I learned was that a lot of these guys, even though they sound great on Spotify or whatever, that you get them in front of you, and they really don't have the same skill set.
Mhm.
And that was a bit shocking for me. But I guess in this day and age, everything is so computer assisted. That's not from my background. I'm a little older, so my background is like if you wanted to stand out, you actually had to be really good.
Yeah.
And
Right.
anyway, it was a little discouraging, and we went through everyone we could get our hands on, and almost halted the project.
Oh, wow.
Um, but yeah, because you can't, the disappointment stacks up, and then you kind of go, why am I doing this? I mean, fuck, I don't need to do this. I should just be on an island somewhere enjoying retirement.
Yeah.
But the truth is, I started playing music when I was 6 years old. So it's not something you just put in a box and bury in the backyard. And I'd worked so hard when I was in Death Punch. I thought this is your one chance to re-enter the atmosphere um, on the heels of being that guy over there.
Mhm.
So, so I said, well, listen, we got to make sure it's right. And we ended up finding our singer, Rex. I call him Rexer. His
Yes.
name is Wes Horton, but he's he's such a vicious singer that he adopted the nickname Rex, Wrex, like
I
Rex.
like it.
Anyway, he came in after I had almost exhausted my enthusiasm was exhausted looking for a singer. And he came in sort of like, yeah, whatever, like you're just another dude. But I was like, holy shit, this guy's got an incredible vocal skill set. He
Mhm.
can scream and sing and do all that guttural, all that stuff that, you know, it's hard to find somebody that can do all those things.
Right.
And after working with him for a little while at my house, we were kind of like, this is it. This could be the package. And from there, we went looking for the bass player, and we got very lucky with our bass player, a fellow named Nick Diltz from a band called All Hail the Yeti out of Los Angeles. And he was the second guy we tried. So we got really lucky. He can sing his ass off. He plays heavy metal in low tunings. I mean, it just sort of fit perfectly.
I love how it fell into place, even though it kind of took a while to find that singer. But it sounds like he was your saving grace in a way.
Oh my God, you have no idea. Well, here's the thing. The singer is the most important element. If you don't get that right,
Mhm.
then no matter how good the music is, because you got this thing that's not very pleasant to listen to on the top of it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I could fall in love with a guitar solo, but if I have to listen to like 2 minutes of a vocalist
Right.
that just absolutely sucks, I'm gonna change the song, right? Uh,
Agreed. And it's very common too. It's like a lot of great musicians, their bands weren't that great, or
mhm.
their song weren't that great, right? So it's really second, being a hotshot player is secondary.
From photos and little videos I've seen online, it kind of looks like you guys have a lot of energy on stage. Can you kind of talk about the environment energy that you guys bring to a live show?
Well, if there's one thing I'm good at, and that is putting a band together and putting a show together. And because I found, well, Rob is just a very good musician, and that's a huge part of what makes us sound so polished is a drummer that's really tight and really confident. We all sing, and we use amplifiers and not digital modelers. So there's this rush of like volume that a lot of bands are switching to the little digital amps.
Mhm.
And so there really is, there's there's no volume coming off the stage, and that's very common now. And I kind of wanted to build it a little bit old school, sort of like Pantera or Van Halen, where we have massive amounts of amps, and I really play, and it's loud, and you can't get away from it. It's thunderous, and having three people step up to a microphone and sing confident, loud vocals together. You don't get a lot of that either these days, you know?
Right. Yeah.
So
Well,
that's kind of, yes, that's why, you know, it's organic.
yes. And it sounds like you had your live show at the forefront of your mind when you were putting this band together too. So,
I wanted I want to make sure we stood out. There's so many more bands nowadays than there used to be. Anyone who's got minimal ability in a laptop can pretty much get in the game these days. You know, here I made my record in my bedroom and I'm uploading it to Spotify, and so it's oversaturated.
mhm,
But when you get on that stage, that's what separates the boys from the men. You know, and I've been doing live stuff for so long that that's my home base. You
mhm,
know, and I know, well, I wanted to present it, like I said, organic, confident, loud, everyone's singing. We're not relying on laptops and all that stuff. So I think that's maybe why we stand apart, hopefully.
you can listen to people all you want on Spotify, but when you see them live and you're like, holy shit, this is amazing, that makes you love that band even more.
I agree. If you can get it right live, I mean, essentially what you're looking for is for people to go, I would see that again.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, or like, you should see it. It's pretty fucking
Mhm.
good. You
Yeah.
know, and so, you know, that's really it. Growth, you know, you want people to spread the word and or leave them with some sort of feeling that was like, wow, that
Mhm.
was special. I haven't seen something like that in a long time.
Yeah.
You know, so you know, it worked. Worked. I'm pretty happy.
Nice. So by the time this interview comes out, you're gonna have some big news out that an album is coming. Um,
Mm.
do you want to kind of talk about what we can expect from this album when it will come out? Just some little sneak peeks.
The new song is called Sideways. The title and the lyric come from a phrase that I've used frequently, like shit's about to go sideways,
Mhm.
right? It's something that we all have heard before. And so it's sideways to me is kind of like before something is about to hit the fan, you know?
Mhm.
Uh, and I really like the song. It was one of the first ones that we finished for the record. Um, it's sort of a like our little immediate friend group and family group who have heard the record. They have identified that as one of the ones that they like best.
Yes.
So I'm super happy with it, super proud of it. I can't wait for the record to come out. Um, and the record comes out the exact same day we play Upheaval.
Yeah, that's
So it's
pretty epic.
a really magical day for us. You know, this record was completed like December of 2022.
So it's been a long time in the making.
I've been hearing these songs for that long.
Mhm.
And so they're certainly not fresh for me, but that's okay. You know, we made the record on our own, and then from there you get management, and from there you shop around and get a deal, and then you have to get a live agent and all this stuff, and then you start booking some shows, and so it's a long process.
Right.
And our record company, Fearless, said, "Well, we're in this weird area where we could, our next sort of hot release period is right before Christmas," and we signed the deal in August.
Mhm.
So like we could squeeze this out for Christmas, but it's probably not the best plan. The next hot window would be summer.
Yeah.
So I'm like, holy fuck, man. Okay, we're gonna have to wait all the way till next summer. But it actually has turned out to be a bit of a blessing because there was, you know, we had zero monthly listeners. Zero. We are at zero. So by rolling out one song here and there, it allowed us to get a small following. And certainly we got some killer tours with Godsmack. So it allowed us to get the following from the live and get people sort of hearing it and acquainted with it on Spotify, etc. Um, so it actually has worked out, even though I'm impatient and I want to go.
Right.
Um, every time we release a song, and these aren't proper singles for commercial radio. These are just like uploaded on Spotify and talk about it in the press, you know. And by doing it this way, and Sideways will be our fifth Spotify song, And so by doing it this way, every song sort of gets its own little moment in the spotlight, where as if it were released in context with a record, the spotlight would go on to the radio singles, and all the B tracks that have a cool factor but aren't singles wouldn't have the attention they've had.
So all the songs you have released now, those are all on the album too?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That-
We got signed with 16 finished masters. And I want to say there's 13 or 14 on the record. I can't remember. And so we've released 5 with Sideways. The first song that will go to radio is a song called A Bit of Lightning, which was, everyone sort of identified that as that's the slam dunk arena.
So what you've released so far, I feel like is a good mix of, you've got your like super heavy ones and then a little bit lighter ones. Is that a theme throughout the album? There's going to be a lot more mix of super heavy.
Yeah. It was a bit of a concern because we've put up all of the gnarly stuff, which has met with great approval. Especially we did the song with Corey Taylor.
Right.
Everyone's like, sick new band stuff. But, there's a ballad on there, and there's some stuff that's a little bit more radio friendly. And I just know that's what I like. I like big, fat, juicy arena songs. And the weirder and the heavier you get, the audience sort of narrows down, right? Even though I love that stuff, to me, every song is just an opportunity to deliver an emotion.
Yeah.
So, we don't just feel one emotion. There's all kinds of emotions. So when I go to write a song, I'm really thinking about what's the vibe of this? Does it set the tone? And does the listener receive that vibe? And does it hold them there? And then when they're done, they're like, fuck, I love that song. I want to hear it again. That's really it. It's just a feeling,
I love that.
Yeah, well, so I'm trying to go for different feelings. Right now, the only feeling we've released is go fuck yourself.
Right.
Yeah, that's one feeling.
That's awesome. I love that viewpoint of us feeling different emotions, and why wouldn't you show that in your music too? Why be stuck in that go fuck yourself mentality when you feel a bunch of other emotions?
Right. Well, like who's that? Who did Wicked Ways? Chris Isaak, right? Because that song is different from all his other stuff, but it has a weird vibe, puts you in a spooky, dark kind of mood, And so it worked. It achieved that emotion. But he doesn't have 42 Wicked Ways.
Right.
Right. So that's kind of you're exactly right. That's what music to me is just supposed to put you in a feeling.
Yeah, and I think it helps with longevity. If you have this wide of range of emotions to work from, you're going to be able to create a lot more than if you limit yourself to just one.
Right. Well, I had I had a lot of experience and a lot of success trying that out in the prior situation.
Yeah.
Like for a very long time, Bad Company was the biggest song. But we had all this fucking brutal stuff that the guys liked, but it wasn't on the radio. And so everyone's like, oh yeah, that band, I like that song. What's that song? You got A Bad Company. I like that song. So I know, I get it. Like, it's cool to be raunchy and heavy, but we want to, the idea is, try to capture the hearts and minds of the most amount of people possible.
Yeah. I think that's the way to do it. So I guess now we'll kind of talk about your songwriting process. Is that a solo thing? Is it a collaborative effort with the whole band? Is it just you and the drummer? How's that work out with you guys?
That's a good question. I like to start by myself. I'm still relatively insecure about my hack little ideas, and the whole reason why I built the studio in my house is so that I could develop things without people going, nah, maybe do that there or change that. Or I don't like the second part. The first part, I'm like, fuck. I need to be able to flesh it out to a point where I'm confident to present it. And so to answer the question, I do most of the music alone, and then I bring the other guys in. when I'm confident with it, then I can defend it or sell it or pitch it, you know, if I'm confident with it. And I don't always get it right. You know, there's some fucking stinkers in there where they go, oh no. I go, yeah, I don't know either. Fuck it, you know. It's part of the process though. You know, it's like
Yeah.
throwing darts. You could throw darts all day long, but you're just not going to hit a bullseye every time. It's just
Yeah.
the way it goes. So, but I like to work it up on my own. I always get maybe Rob in first to I have a digital drum kit upstairs, like one of those Roland V kits. So I usually like to take my fucking dun 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 and get rid of that, and he'll come in and play something that resembles a human being playing the drums. And then if we like it, if we still like the idea from there, then it goes over to Rex Aloni's Wes.
Yes. I
He's
like that nickname.
mortified that I'm calling him Rex or Rex Aloni's.
So, back to the album, are there any songs that you're super excited to play live?
Yes, there is. You know, we open up with the same song that opens up the album, and it's a song called "It's Okay to Be Angry." And I know that's kind of a funny, odd title, but it came from a chapter in a self-help book I was reading, which is also funny. It's okay to be angry, chapter 14. I'm like, this is interesting. Let's see what the fuck this is all about.
Yeah.
And it's just, I think it's a really cool track, and it's very fast and heavy. So that's fun to open the show with it. We also open the record with it. And then a bit of lightning, I think, is the globally approved big number.
Mhm.
We were playing that song on the Godsmack tour, and we had full arena at 7 o'clock waving the lighters around, and then they would come up to us in the meet and greet and go, "That lightning song, that's the one. That's a winner." Right. So I'm pretty proud of that one. Um, there's a ballad on there called "Home," which is definitely delivers that feeling.
It's pretty cool that a song that's not really released can draw that kind of emotion out of a crowd already.
It, it's rare. It's rare, but it's a good indicator.
Mhm.
You know, I've actually we just announced Sideways this morning. I know we're going to be a little off the timeline. We announced Sideways this morning, and people, somebody sent a comment saying, "I don't know why you guys don't release the lightning song. It's quite obvious that you guys can't recognize what your best song is or whatever." And I thought it was so funny, but it's good though.
Yeah.
It's good though. So let's hope. Fingers are crossed.
So Upheaval, we have a couple different stages. We have main stage, it's on the lower level, and then our second stage is up on a hill.
Okay.
And our fans like to make this big deal that it's a grand feat to climb this hill to get to the second stage. So we have a motivational playlist to motivate them to walk up this hill. So I want to know what song off the album, released or unreleased, what's your like big motivating album that maybe you would listen to work out to or just help you get through a tough time, I guess.
Help you walk up the hill.
Yes.
Well, definitely the Corey Taylor track. Nothing to Some is it's very simple, but it has a really nice charge beat groove to it. You know, it's like, you know, I mean, I knew that one was going to work in that context. It's not complicated, but it has that driving pulse, you
Mhm.
know, that makes guys go, "Fuck yeah, where's my another rep?"
Yeah.
You know?
Totally.
And it's Corey Taylor, which is sick as fuck anyway. But
Oh, yeah.
um, so that's definitely one of them. I think Lack of Respect, that song, It's Your Lack of Respect, that has been identified as sort of a male audience favorite,
Mhm.
because it's also loaded with that kind of charge too, you know.
That would be my pick, I think, so far for the playlist.
Okay, very good.
Yeah. This is just a personal question because you mentioned Van Halen a few times, and Van Halen happens to be my favorite band.
Oh,
What is your favorite Van Halen song? Or what's your favorite Van Halen song to play on the guitar?
that band really affected me. I mean, it just had a cool factor, not to mention it's just loaded with great performances from everyone. And if I had to pick a song, Unchained has always been a fire it up song. Matter of fact, I cut a piece of Unchained, and that's our walk-on song. So like, you know how Kiss plays Led Zeppelin before every concert in the last 30 years or whatever? We're playing Van Halen Unchained as our, anyone who's getting a soda or a beer or whatever, like, oh, they're coming.
Yeah. I love
And
that.
and luckily all my young band guys are like, yeah, that's cool, whatever. So but as far as one of my favorite songs by Van Halen is Right Now.
I love Right Now. Yeah, it's a great one.
It's beautiful. It's got a really cool concept lyric. The idea of don't hesitate because live in the moment, that whole thing is really cool. Plus it's piano, so that sets that sort of dark, sort of serious vibe. It's just such a masterpiece to me. So
Yeah.
I mean, I could go on and on and on.
Did you ever see them live?
Many times. Many times. Unfortunately, the first opportunity I had to see Van Halen would have been in 1984 on the 1984 tour. My sister got her tickets. I got my tickets. And I'm like, I'm getting hooked up by my best friend's brother works at Ticketmaster or whatever it was. So we're hooked up. We're good. And of course that fell through.
Yeah, of course.
So my sister like, I like Jump. Jump's a nice song. Haha. And I'm like the deep committed fan, and I got hosed on the tickets. So that broke my heart. The next time they came through town was 1986. They played Molson Stadium in Toronto. I'm from Canada. Played this massive stadium that we had, a baseball stadium in Toronto. And that was on the 5150 tour. And that just changed my life.
Yeah.
The songs were so good. That record just had a new life. And it was just like, wow, I can't believe they took it to the next level, even with a new guy. And from there on, it was like the OUN8 tour, the FUCK tour, anything. I saw it all. I saw them play with Gary Sharon at a club in Hollywood. They did a private show for a bunch of radio contest winners for that third iteration of the band. And I didn't win anything, but my buddy's like, dude, I'm doing security. Do you want me to sneak you into this thing? I'm like, fuck yeah. So I got my picture with the guys and Eddie, and there was only like 30 people there. So, wow. And it goes all the reunion shows and 2004 with Sammy, and then all the stuff with Dave after that. So yeah, I mean, I never missed them.
And that's all the questions I have for you. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us, and we're excited to see you at Upheaval.
Thanks, Rebecca. It's been my pleasure.